you, Patrick, as a Spurs fan. So obviously you're sitting fourth in the league. You had that dramatic win at the end to Leeds. Who are your biggest concerns in terms of coming from behind? You know, Newcastle, I know they're ahead of you, but they're there or thereabouts. Who are your biggest challenges, in your opinion, for that top four spot? And who do you worry about overtaking you and kicking you out of it?
I still think the top four will be the top four, which I've been saying all along. Arsenal, City, Liverpool, Tottenham. That was my top four before ball was kicked. That was my top four after the transfer window closed. I'm still going with that top four. My biggest threat right now is Newcastle. They're in a good. We're 1 point behind them. I think they played the game less. We played the same amount of games. They look like you guys said they're in a really good vein of form. It's like almost like Leicester team when they won the league in terms of like, even if they're not the most talented when they go into a game, you just know they're going to get something out of it. They beat us. They beat Chelsea. They look like they're a good team. Do you know what I mean? And like individually, they've got some good players, but together they're a good unit. So for me, they're the biggest threat. Chelsea, you can never write them off, but I don't see them getting in the top four. But for me, Newcastle are the biggest threat out of all the teams that are there or thereabouts. Why are you laughing, Thomas? Like, it's not even like
it was David. It was David. You sat there when you can't write Chelsea off. David sat there. Oh, yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Yeah, but Patrick, over Liverpool, you said you don't think Liverpool would. No, you think they're getting top four anyway, don't you? Okay.
Liverpool for me are definitely getting top four.
Yeah.
Obviously, Arsenal. It would take a.
You're going to finish ahead of you or no?
I don't know. I don't know. That's because personally, I'd like to say that we'd finish above you, but I can't write this Liverpool team off. You've done so much in the last couple of years, and even when, like you said, when you're stinking at the place, you ended up finishing comfortably third when Alisson was banging in headers and stuff like that, and you just ended up going on some mad run. So this Liverpool team, and you're going to get players back from injury, so you'd be a fool to write Liverpool. The World Cup does
you in as well, don't it? The World Cup, you lose a lot of players to the World Cup. You've got Romero, who was dodging last couple of games with his muscle fatigue to not play. Son's rushed back from a fractured eye.
All key players for big teams. Richarlison's going to play a lot for Brazil. Romero is definitely going to play a lot for Argentina. Kane, who's making noises in the background?
Richarlison, not scary no goals this season. Richarlison,
not Richarlison. Richarlison is Brazil's. Why are you not laughing anyway? When the World Cup starts, you're going to see Richarlison is Richard. You know, like put some respect on his name. His name's Richarlison. He's Brazilian, yeah.
Not Richard Arlison, the bush driver.
You call him Richard, bro. He ain't got a D in his name, bro. What is that?
Everyone
going back to my point.
Yeah,
Son is the main man for South Korea. So a lot of our players are big players for their team. You know, Patrick, if France go far, Luis is playing every game.
You know the biggest issue for Spurs is though, you're the team people want to take down out of that top four.
Yeah, everyone keeps writing us off. I see it in the comments.
If they see, like, literally, even with Newcastle there, I think teams still see Spurs and be like, we can catch them, and we can take them down. And when it comes to their head-to-heads, we can beat them to get to top four.
Let them write us off, man. I love it. Let them write us off. I mean, it doesn't matter. I don't mind that.
This is the thing, though, Patty. Like, I haven't even really bantered Spurs this year. Spurs' problem is I just haven't said you're as good as Arsenal, which you're not. And Spurs fans don't like how. I think some Spurs fans don't like how I've called out the style of play, because there are some of you that like, you're not one of these. George ain't one. Alan's not one. Alex ain't one. But there's a lot of Spurs fans online who are in denial in the sense of they don't want to admit that there aren't concerns with Tottenham. And they're also not used to being in with the big boys. And what I mean by that is I remember Man United being top of the league in 2012-2013 season when we won it. And it was about April. We were pretty much clear at the top. And there are articles talking about how, we're going to be champions, but we're not very good champions. They're like one of the Fergie's worst teams still. And that's the way you get documented, written about, spoken about as a top team. Sometimes you're achieving good things, but you're still being criticized. That's how the best team, that's what happened. And I think like some Spurs fans look at it like you're achieving top four, therefore you should just be praised. And for me, it's like, I don't think some Tottenham fans get it yet. That actually, with that level of achievement, there is greater.
You got to judge. you've got to judge us by the same standards as the other top 4 teams. If you want to be a big club and you want to be a top 4 team, you've got to be judged by the same standards. Because when you're playing Champions League football and you're sitting back for 60, 70 minutes, Champions League teams are obviously of a better ilk and a better quality, and they'll put you to the sword. I know we played some teams we had an easy group stage and we got through. But if you do that against the better teams, you're going to come a cropper. So I get what you're saying in that sense, but I see people in the comments saying, we're lucky and it's not going to work. I don't know. There's 2 sides to every story, because at the same time, we scored the 3rd most amount of goals. We're 3rd in XG in terms of the quality of the chances that we're creating and everything like that. So as much as people are saying, we're lucky and this and that, you create your own luck. Do you know what I mean? We're fighting to the death and we're pretty much staying in every game. And yes, you can't do that, and I don't want to see us conceding 2 or 3 goals a game against teams like Leeds and Bournemouth. With all due respect, you shouldn't be letting these teams, score 2. We went away and flipping conceded. 3 at home to Leeds. I know, and even Nottingham Forest, who don't score goals, scored 2 and beat us. And so that kind of stuff needs to stop. But at the same point, in the same breath, we're 4th in the league. We're doing our thing right now. We just need to obviously just tighten it up a bit. But like I said, I want people to write us off, man. It's good. I don't mind it.
This comment here says, haven't bannered Spurs, man is cooking George every week. Yeah, but I'm cooking George for what George says. That isn't cooking Tottenham. You know what I'm saying? Like, George literally came on the terrace and said that I don't want United fans speaking to me. And I'm like, bruv, we've won more in our downtime than you've won in my lifetime. So I'm calling him out. He's a view. That's not like it's not. It's just was that pretty good? Was that a good rap?
Yeah,
that's a bar. That's a bar. That is a bar.
See, you see this? Do you know what I mean? Call me Vanilla Rice, motherfucker. Yeah, I'm doing my thing, but yeah, listen, it's one of them things where I don't even know what I said now. I can't even repeat it.
Vanilla rice.
On a real level, like. That's why I went for George. And George knows it's just fun for the camera. But Tottenham, I said, and you know this, Patrick. I said about Tottenham at the start of the season, I think you'll be a very good team this year. I think you'll make, on my second lot of predictions after the transfer window shut, I said, I think that you'll make the top 4. The only thing that's wound people up is that I said, I think that you'll finish about 10 points behind Arsenal. The irony is we're nearly halfway through and you're 8 points behind. And I don't understand what the angle with me is. It should just be all how Terry Flew is the oracle this season, really.
Moving like Ronaldo, Terry, relax.
It's still early. It's still early. It's still early. Because
my son respects me.
One second.
No.
By that, it's still early.
Let me ask the panel a question, because when we had this top 4 chat, everyone just assumed like Arsenal definitely finishing in the top 4. Is that everyone saying that? Yeah.
Yes.
Because
what are we doing, Patrick? Patrick, we can't do this.
No. I'm asking a genuine question. So. So you lot all think so Arsenal are that good that they can't go on a run of 4 or 5 games where they don't win a game and all the other teams catch up.
Even if they go on a 4 or 5 game run of not winning the game, the gap between that they've made right now will secure it. Because are you confident that Spurs, Man United, or Chelsea, or even Newcastle can go on a run of games that matches what Arsenal?
I'm confident that Tottenham can finish above Arsenal. Yeah, I am. And history will tell you over the last, I don't know why you lot are like doing all this weird stuff in the background. History will tell you the last 4, 5, 6 years we finished.
Am I having a panic attack again? Am I in the middle of a panic attack and hallucinating here? What is going on?
Listen, this is just me being real, isn't it? Like Romero's been out for a while. Kulu's been out for a while. Son's been out. We've had a lot of our keeper. If Arsenal have a couple of injuries,
out like it's a bad thing. So Young Son has stunk up the gaff this season.
Son is still one of the best players in the league. Like even if he isn't, like every team would rather have Son not playing than Son playing. Like, come on, let's be serious, isn't it? Like if we're having a serious conversation, let's have a serious conversation. So when we get our players back, Tottenham will be a better team. Obviously, Conte, you know what he's about as a manager. And Arsenal can have a couple of injuries and also go through a bad run. It's not like Arsenal right now are obviously playing good football and they've had a lot of key decisions go their way at the right time. That's not always going to be the case. It's not unthinkable.
One second,
what's the longest unbeaten run? Sorry, girl. With your full team back, with everyone back, what do you think your longest unbeaten run can be with your full team?
I don't know. It's, what? I don't know what. 8
Because
games,
I'm
10
saying
games.
that because Arsenal and Man City right this season have been doing up 8, 9, 10, and most of them are wins.
Will that continue? Will Arsenal continue and sustain this form?
No, I'm not saying. No, I'm not saying they will. I'm saying, can you do it? Because if you're going to finish above Arsenal, that means you will have to match what they've done and do more.
Yeah.
So I'm asking,
that's not unthinkable. When I said last year Arsenal, Tottenham would finish above Arsenal, everyone laughed at me. We did all of this, people lost bets and we finished above them. So I don't understand why it's like it's so.
Patrick,
it's a bit weird that
guys. Let me hand this over to Igal. I want to get an Arsenal fan's response to this. Go on, Igal.
Patrick, there's a categorical difference from what happened last season and this season. First of all, last season we were talking about like a 4-point difference at the end of the season. Right now we're talking about a team that has won 12 of their first 14 games. You've dropped more points in your last 4 games than we've dropped the whole entire season. You can't compare yourselves to Arsenal at this moment in time. If you were to say, oh,
at this moment in time, that's the key word. At this moment in time, stop acting like you lot are Man City and you've done it for years. You're not Liverpool. You haven't done it for years. This is at this moment in time.
Don't forget, you're closer to 7th and 8th than you are to us at this moment in time. And we've played one less game.
I agree.
And when it comes down to it, 4 games in, you're saying, oh, they're gonna fall off. 5 games in, you're saying the same thing. 10 games in, you're saying the same thing. 14 games in, you're still having the same tune. It shows that you're consistent, but realistically, you're actually talking shit. Because defensively,
no, I didn't. Don't misquote me. I was never saying, oh, they're gonna fall off.
Listen. We've conceded almost 10 less goals than you. We've scored. We've only scored 2 more goals than you. That's kind of impressive. But same point.
So there you go.
An 8-point lead. Ooh. You're not gonna swing. You're not gonna swing an 8-point lead. That's ridiculous.
Why is it ridiculous? What, do you know how many points are still left on the board? Like, please stop talking like you're done.
Again,
and
Patrick,
come on,
get into the hold on.
No, it's not come on, Patrick. There's so much football left to be. There's so much football left to be played. The way you lot are like mocking me,
let me finish. I'm not even going at your Spurs point. Your Spurs, if you want to believe that Spurs going to be, that's cool. Okay, cool. The question was, you posed the question. Are Arsenal going to finish out of the top 4? I just need to ask 2 questions. Igal, how many points are you on right now?
37, I think.
Tom, how many points are you on right now?
22 or 23.
I'm on 21. It's not happening. We're too far behind already. We can't catch them. They're ahead of us.
I asked the question because
they're ahead of us.
Let me ask you a question. Are you in a title race?
No, we're not. No.
So how is Arsenal in the title race, but you think you're going to catch us?
What do you mean? What are you talking about? What, you're not making sense.
No,
that's such a stupid statement.
You think you can catch us, but we're categorically actually in a situation where we could be fighting for the title. You've already lost your chance of winning.
Because you're in a title race right now, it doesn't mean that you can't be caught. What are you on about? Come on, bro.
You think you can get back into a title race? Because that's what you're going to need to do. At this moment in time,
Tottenham have never been in a title race. No sensible.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said.
No, let me land, innit?
Let me into a title race right now. From where you are right now, do you think you can get back
title race with Tottenham finishing above our
The reason being, at the beginning of the season, you might not be able to win a title, but what you can do, you can drop off and you can lose it. I think Tottenham have already lost their chance of winning a title, where Arsenal are still in it, and it hurts you inside.
No, but again,
it doesn't hurt me inside. What are you talking about? KJ
Patrick's point is not there will become a title racing team that you will drop off and lose the title early enough for Spurs to catch up to you and finish.
Thank you. It's like it's a bit like what you're saying is wild, Gal. I never said none of that stuff. And if Arsenal in a title race, fair play to them. But that wasn't my point. My point is Tottenham can still finish above Arsenal. Right? Clip all of this. It's fine, isn't it? Because you lot did this all last year as well, and it's cool.
This is a great segue into the